is taking me everywhere. Yeah. Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
What's up, everybody? How's it going? I'm Dave, and welcome to our weekly broadcast of The Good Work Live. This is something we've been doing every Wednesday night at 6:45 for a couple months now. And tonight it's exciting because it's the first time that we are doing it on our main open page. We've had a closed group page to kind of test out some ideas and ways to do this better, and we've been improving bit by bit every week, and we thought this week would be a great week to kind of go public and share one of the things we've been doing in this project. So I'm Dave. If you don't know, most of the universe doesn't, so I feel like I always have to introduce myself, but this might be the first time you're watching one of these, since we are kind of putting it in front of the wall that we had up, and since these are going to be weekly on this public page now. I'm Dave, and I am the guy who's kind of in the streets hanging out with people, trying to figure out how to best connect people with each other, how to help people find their best individual selves, how to find their purpose, and how to find compassion in their life, and how we can do that together. We feel like, a lot of us, I think, feel like the world is disjointed enough already, so a bunch of us are getting together and trying to help put things back. So, anyways, I'm Dave. And right now, when we get together on Facebook Live, I really just kind of share what's kind of been bouncing around in my brain, and hope that it is relevant to you. So tonight I want to talk about nuclear reactors. I mean, come on, it's pretty exciting, right? Nuclear reactors. Specifically, I want to talk about 3 Mile Island. And I know, can you get any more excited than that? It's super thrilling to know that this guy who's trying to do this project wants to talk nuclear reactors. I know that's what everyone has been saying to me for months and months and months. Dave, let's do nuclear reactors. So let's do it, all right? So if you're unfamiliar, in 1979 there was a incident at a nuclear power plant, the one at 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania. There was a failure that occurred in the nuclear power plant, and the best notes that I have on it is that there was a failure in a non-nuclear section of the power plant. It was in the area of one of the 2 reactors. So there was either a mechanical or an electrical failure that prevented the main feed water pumps from sending water to the steam generators that remove heat from the reactor core, because too much heat in the reactor core and skadoosh, you know what I mean? So this interference, or this failure, it caused the plant's turbine generator and the reactor itself to automatically shut down as a precaution. So immediately the pressure in the primary system it began to increase. Alarms start going off. The valves should have been closed, but it didn't. Instruments in the control room start going off. More alarms start going off. But it's 8 minutes before anything actually starts happening to help fix the problem that originally occurred. Now, this was a huge scare, and it was like one of those fears that had been a part of American culture in the years leading up to 3 Mile Island, and even after that, about how safe nuclear power was. The President of the United States at the time decides to, after the incident, send in a team to investigate what happened. seconds. Now, the good news is, while townships and populated areas around 3 Mile Island were evacuated, there were no reported deaths or illnesses directly related to the incident at 3 Mile Island. But the president's research committee team gets in there, those who were appointed to figure out what exactly went wrong. And ultimately, in one of the reports, they referred to it as an episode of cascading failures, which is like the most beautiful way of saying one thing went wrong, then another, then another, then another, then another, then another. So they referred to it as a cascading failure. And in the end, what they decided was that it was actually a really minor mechanical problem. What ultimately made it so bad were the human beings. The humans made the thing worse, and how they did react or didn't react, and how they did get to solving the problem or didn't. They determined that ultimately, while it was a small mechanical problem at 3 Mile Island, ultimately human error made it worse and could have even possibly made it much, much more dangerous had they not solved it when they did. So there's this researcher out of England. Her name is Judith Edworthy, and she studies things like 3 Mile Island. Her research actually falls in the auditory realm of the universe. She focuses her research on alarms. I didn't know you could get that specific, but you can. So her research is focused on alarms, and what she said is that the incident at 3 Mile Island is really alarm design gone wrong more than anything else. She says, imagine trying to do something critically important while hundreds of alarms are going off at the same time at the very moment that you need to think and communicate the most clearly. And as the research and the reports told, that's really what part of the problem was at 3 Mile Island, is that there were so many alerts, alarms, lights, buzzers, noises, that the humans that were working there, the women and men who were part of that team, they had an incredibly difficult time communicating and focusing because the alarms were just firing at them so much that they just couldn't stay focused. Have you ever been on the phone trying to talk to whoever it is, trying to argue about a bill that you feel like you don't owe, or trying to figure out a new contract for something else, or you're working with something on the phone, and while you're doing that, the microwave, it dings because the macaroni and cheese for your child is ready, and so that goes off and it beeps every 20 seconds to remind you the macaroni and cheese is ready, the macaroni and cheese is ready, the macaroni and cheese is ready. And speaking of that child who's waiting for that macaroni and cheese because they're waiting for you to open the door because that alert tells you that the macaroni and cheese is ready, but you're on the phone so you can't do that yet, that child is on your leg crying because it wants you to know that it is upset and scared because the dog, who is currently now at the other side of the room barking at you, ran over your child and is now trying to defend itself in some dog speak sort of way, telling you that it wasn't the dog's fault, but the child is crying, and the child would quiet down if you could get the macaroni and cheese out of the microwave, but you're on the phone trying to get that bill cut out. And then all of a sudden, the doorbell rings because Amazon's here with your monthly delivery of Tide Pods, and you need to do the dishes, and you need to do the laundry, and you need to do all of these things. You ever found yourself in that moment? Like, how effective are you in moments like that? How you are you in those moments? I would argue that alarm design matters. I think the researcher, Judith Edworthy, would agree that alarm design matters. There's been a history of bad alarm design. 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. The folks who owned the oil rig actually disabled the alarms because they were so bad at waking up the crew on the rigs that they were afraid that if they continued to go off as false alarms, the crew wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So they turned them off a year before the incident, the oil spill incident, ever occurred. Bad alarm design. Just this weekend, thousands of people in Hawaii got an alert that said there were ballistic missiles coming their way. It was a mistake, but was it the best way to communicate the information? It took over a half hour for corrected information to get out. Alarm design matters is what I want us to kind of get at. Now, Edworthy, that researcher, in some of her writing, she says that we are so bombarded by alarms on our daily life that we either just tune them all out or we treat them all with the same amount of urgency. So she suggests we either completely remove ourselves from any type of alarm or warning, or we're more likely to treat the fridge door ajar beep the same way that we would treat a car slamming its horn at us while we're trying to walk across the street. Or we treat the buzzing of our dryer, our clothes dryer, the same as we might treat the alarm of a child waking up in the middle of the night, being awoken by a bad dream. All this to suggest that we might have a sort of alarm fatigue in our life. Her study, Edworthy's study, says that we hear up to 100 traditional alarms a day, from microwaves to crosswalk machines to text message alerts to the different bips and blings of the different machines that we use in our offices and factories and cubicles and bathrooms and living rooms and areas. And I'd argue that we probably hear more than 100 alarms a day. There are different words and phrases that we might come across in an email that trigger a red flag in our head, a message on a phone. We might see something that throws a shot of cortisone into our body and causes us stress. Alarms are more than just the beeps and dings and bangs and bumps. Alarms are those things that raise our awareness to be more defensive, to be more prepared, to be wary, to be scared. Alarms are rarely there to tell us to celebrate. So we have this dog in our house. He's 13 years old. His name's Chewy. Some of you have met our dog Chewy. He's a little 7-pound Chihuahua. And Chewy is the living embodiment of what it's like to treat every alarm the same, with the same amount of urgency. From the moment he wakes up in the morning to the moment he attempts to go to sleep at night, every movement, every motion, every noise is a potential disaster. When he sees myself or Katie or Finn move from one room to another, he whines and he whimpers and he shakes uncontrollably. When the other dog gets fed, he shakes. When he hears a car driving down the street that has a loud muffler, he shakes. When we celebrate someone scoring a goal, a touchdown, a three-point shot on TV, we laugh, he shakes. I think one of the worst things that he does or one of his worst reactions rather, is that when we get like an alert on our phone, a text message or a DM or some kind of notification on our phone, he flips out and he just won't calm down. For that poor little fuzzball, everything is like DEFCON 1. Everything is the ultimate emergency. And I just can't imagine how tiring that's got to be. But I also realize that in my life, I've lived that way before. I've been so tired or so stressed, or I've been so focused on getting a certain thing done or avoiding a certain conflict that everything becomes an alarm that I treat the same way, with the same urgency, the same danger. And so I catch myself overreacting, or I catch myself being defensive about simple things that I don't need to be defensive of. My own alarm design then becomes bad and faulty. And so I guess the question tonight that I want to throw out to the community, and because this is a Facebook Live thing, one of the things we hope happens is that we can share comments. So feel free either now or when you're watching this in a not live moment in the future to drop a comment. And let me ask you this. Do you order the alarms in your life? Is there an order to them? Is there a way that you give them permissions, but you also turn them off? Are there things that you have decided are more important, or for you right now in life is every single alert treated with the same intensity and urgency? Do you give a weightedness to the things that ask for your energy and attention, or is everything again treated with the exact same level? What is a well-ordered set of alarms for life anyways? Are they different for different phases? Are some things universal and always deeply important? In what ways are you finding who you really are in life through these things that alert you that things are ready, or things need your attention or your energy? These are the questions that I've asked myself this week. I think that as we work together as a community and we talk about the things that are important, that it would be good for us to take an assessment. What things trigger within me a heightened sense of stress or fear or anxiety? And when I recognize that those things are doing those things, do they deserve that weightiness? Because we're given a lot of information nowadays. Not all of it's good, and a whole lot of it's not helpful. But we have been conditioned to react to so many things, whether someone prominent says something on TV or puts something online, we react. We have to react. That's the world of social media. It's reaction. And I would suggest that maybe that's one of those places where we're being conditioned to see alarms where we really don't need to, where our energy and our attention might be better served in recognizing the problems that are around us and recognizing what that thing or that occurrence may have been that's so upsetting, but then to find how to live through that, to find that transformation point through those alarms. And rather than being upset every moment that something dastardly or terrible or something that we perceive bad is happening, rather to walk away and say that's not good, but it's not going to cause me to burn energy that is so valuable to me that I can use to do good for myself and the people I love in the world. That's what I would suggest that we look at when we talk about alarms. So that's what I got for you tonight. I hope that you have a life that has well-ordered alarms, and I hope that you had an alarm that told you to tune into this 20 minutes ago, and I hope that you keep that alarm on, and that I see you next Wednesday night at 6:45, or you come to one of our other groups or anything else that we do. Before I go, I do want to tell you that we have adopted a new good work for the next 6 weeks. Throughout kind of our process of becoming this fully realized organization, we have different live groups that meet throughout the week. We have some online forums that you can be a part of, and we're going to be building more and more stuff for you all the time in the coming weeks and months. But one of the things that we just started doing that we're continuing now is we are taking a work that's worthwhile, but that takes more than just one of us raising our hand and saying, I'll do it. We're taking an organization and we're trying to help them out. So The rest of this month in February, we're helping an organization called Poverty's Pets. It's based in Gilbert, Arizona, and they are centered in rescuing animals, specifically rescued animals in underserved areas of our metropolis here. Everything from medical to spade and neutering to training, foster care, finding forever homes for these animals. You can go to povertyspets.org to check them out if you would like. But we're asking for donations, and we are chipping in $500 and asking you to consider, can you help us match that initial $500 gift? So there's a few weeks to do that, but no time like the present to do it. If you'd like to, you can go to thegoodwork.org/support and offer any small, large, any kind of donation that you'd like, and you can tag it. There's a box, a drop-down box that you can show where you would like that gift to go. So Poverty's Pets, that's our January, February good work, our adoption of good work for folks. Tomorrow night we have a gathering, 6 o'clock at Cartel Coffee Lab in Old Town Scottsdale. Love to have you there. It's an hour, and we talk about some good stuff there. Keep an eye on what we're doing on Facebook. Our newsletter went out today. Subscribe to that through thegoodwork.org if you haven't already. And that's about all the rambling I'm going to do. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for helping us find each other's rhythm in life, to find each other's purpose, to live a more kind and compassionate life. And just thanks for being awesome. Just thanks for being awesome. All right. Love you guys. Peace.